Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
You have your highest number of black gay males of all time, and your highest number of black lesbian females of all time. So if you can convince, as Barack Obama so excellently did, convince black boys to date each other and convince black girls to date each other, there can be no conception. So part of the whole push for homosexuality in the first place was to reduce the numbers. And now teenage pregnancy is down.
Nigga, that's gay. Cut that out. What? Thank you.
What up, though? What it is, what it do? It's your Unyg in training here. I ironically was already going to be doing this video, but the universe and the news had me say, maybe, go get that done right now. Kanye just came out and says that he and his cousin were doing illicit gay activities with each other. Now, we know that Kanye has a penchant for just saying things so that people focus on him so he can drop his new album. So everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. That being said, what he is calling attention to with the fact that everybody is talking about this thing is homophobia, specifically in the black community, which is in its own way an epidemic that I ironically have had to deal with far too much of my life, seeing as that I'm not gay. But whatever, I digress. By nature of being a black American man, I can only speak on my experience. But luckily, because I am a black American man, I get to talk on all the cultures that participated in the Europeans and were victims of everybody else, the East Indian Trading Company. America, just like Australia and many other settlements, are a byproduct of England. A group of English Europeans, let's just say Europeans, because it gets real mixed up and muddled, but for some reason were a problem in the mainland and were sent somewhere else to conquer it, establish it, and make it another territory. The idea that the sun never sets on the English Empire, that's where you get it from. So the dominant force of the people who were sent here were pilgrims. They were religious people being persecuted because they were too intense for the Europeans who like to drink their wine and, do all the crazy nonsense they do. And they had kings who kept changing rules because he was like, I get to have as many wives as I want to. That's for the peasants. Anyway. Point being is you have very intense people who set the groundwork for what this country will be built around. And as we know, the building of that country comes from slaves. So who gets these ideas beat into them the hardest? Guess what? No extra point for the obvious answer.
Okay, but just tell me why.
It was just like, I just felt like, that's a child. I feel like a child ain't at 12 can't make that decision. I felt like that's just how I felt, and certain things I talk about on like that. I just felt like that was going too far. I
agree with you.
You calling him or her. Like that's just going too far, at 12 years old.
I fully agree, Boosie. And how we have society constructed today, 12 is far too young to be concerned with sex. You should be focused on playing games and doing fun. Wait,
them boys,
what?
Right, ask in there, my nephew, ask in them, ask my son. Yeah, they were 12, 13, they got head. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I got my son fixed up. You right. Yes, a grown woman.
Boosie just so kindly emphasized the problem here, and that's that Western patriarchal masculinity is a contract that says if I do X, Y, Z, I am allotted this. because the core of where it was created was when rich people back in Rome were like, how do we get these fools to go fight these wars so we can conquer and steal more stuff? They said, ooh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna sell them on the image of a conqueror. And then you add in different religions and different filters, and you get a distorted version of the same concept. It's the idea of a man who is removed from all of the caring aspects of masculinity and just is the hyper dominant conqueror. The irony here being that the reason that people are so homophobic is because they know that it is negatives connected with the acceptance or the signing of that contract of Western masculinity. So you're saying, well, if I would do XYZ in this power, then this gay person must be doing XYZ. And we've also been brainwashed by religions that were, given to you from killing, but whatever, to say that XYZ is wrong.
Everybody in high school be like, yo, you acting like a fag. You acting like, dawg, you gay? And I used to deal with that when I was in high school. And what happened is it made me kind of like homophobic, because it's like I would like go back and like question myself, like, damn, why does everybody else walk like this and I walk like this? So why is then you start just looking, because you don't realize until you're in high school. People like, yo, fam, look at you. Look at how you act. If you see something and you don't want to be that because it's such a negative connotation towards it, you try to separate yourself from it so much that it made me homophobic.
Like the cars I drive, the houses I have. I pay for that shit because I'm insecure. I'm afraid they won't like me if they know who I really am and the shit I really do or the shit I really like that might be weird to them. That makes sense? I'm not ashamed of who I am, but it bothers me that I'm that way. Why am I that way? I got an image of something that's just totally not what that is not about. I'm such a fucking contradiction and lie to myself, both a contradiction and a lie to what I represent, that is, to what do I look like, the heavyweight former champion. This is what former champs represent, whatever manlyhood is for my fist. That's just who we are. America's that way. That's why I'm that way. We take what we want. America takes what they want, and that's the same toxic energy that guys that are immature and insecure we feed on. The toxic masculinity, to hide who I really am. But keep it real, nigga. We respect them niggas that are killing. So when we see them, we don't think of nothing negative to them because we want to be that image. We want people to feel the way we feel, to feel about us the way we feel about him. Fear.
Yeah.
We want people to fear us. I come from a place where I want fear. Look at my career. I thrived off of fear because I was afraid.
Like Macklemore, when I was in 3rd grade, I too thought I was gay. However, unlike Macklemore, it was because my room was neat or because I could draw. I thought I was gay because my cousins, teammates, aunts, friends, uncles, mom, father, all at one point or another called or implied if I was gay. Here I am trying to figure out how to read. Hey, it took me a while. And then I just get dropped into processing my sexual identity. They couldn't even let me finish my first Harry Potter book. This is insane. And the sad part, as was just shown from the Boosie clip, is that we as animals learn from the creatures before us. Unfortunately, for me and for most men, the people we're imitating don't know shit about themselves. One, because they weren't taught to. They weren't allowed to really examine why they have the standings that they have. And two, because they were told that it was normal. And normal is one of the biggest problems that you can possibly have in a society. One, of just people, because all people are processing and examining the world differently. But two, a society as big as we live now, where there are multiple different cultures thrown together into one place. It's mind-boggling that we all try to conform ourselves to one ideal, and that ideal happens to be from the dominant force, and the dominant force across the world happens to be the white people with big guns.
Major issues, and it's a holdover from sort of colonial Victorian, is the issue of sexual preference in many African countries. In Kenya, to be gay, the LGBT community is illegal. They just want to have equal rights, the same privacy and equality as all other Kenyans do. Is that something that you aspire to for your country?
I want to be very clear, Christiana. I will not engage in a subject that is of it is not of any major importance to the people and the Republic of Kenya. This is not an issue, as you would want to put it, of human rights or this. This is an issue of society, of our own base as a culture, as a people, regardless of which community you come from. This is not acceptable. This is not agreeable. This is not about Uhuru Kenyatta saying yes or no. This is an issue that the people of Kenya themselves, who have bestowed upon themselves a constitution, right, after several years, have clearly stated that this is not a subject that they are willing to engage in. Yeah?
There is nowhere that white people went that they did not enforce their viewpoints on existence onto the people that they came into contact with. They did it everywhere. And when I mean white people, I do not just mean British people, I mean all of Europe. I really want to clarify that. And I even want to specify that even further so that we can really understand that all of this hate is a business creation, okay? White is something that was made to justify all of the murder that white people were doing. They just so happened to do a lot of said murder in Africa. So whenever people like Dr. Umar, who of course is going to be mentioned in this video, like to bring up nowhere in the continent of Africa is homosexuality perceived as normal. You know why? Because they got it murdered out of them, dude. Africa was the first continent, the birth of the world. Do you think there was no gay Africans before these crazy colonizers rolled through? Every old culture has fucking people who are some type of queer, you weirdos, okay? The steadfast belief into the form of Catholic religion, because guess what? That's a government in of itself who's been doing a lot of propaganda, is all nonsense that make you easier to control. And you become easier to control to an ends mean for rich people. If I get you to hate somebody that has nothing to do with messing up your life, then I will make you be distracted by the fact that I am the one screwing you over. You can't say that these things don't have anything to do with each other because the playbook is exactly the same. Trans people make up less than 1% of the population, maybe 1% at max. We're focused on the wrong 1%, people. You looking at the wrong T's here, okay? Trans people ain't your problem, Trump is, all right? Gay people not your problem, billionaires are, okay? The one is not messing up your day-to-day life unless the gay person is a white billionaire. And then go ahead, hate that nigga all you want, but not because they're gay, all right? Now, if it isn't clear from the whole little Macklemore speech and the very concept of me making this video, you may be wondering, what is going on, dude? Me think lady doth protest too much. No, I'm examining the concept of why we use gay as a pejorative and as a negative. We have been so culturally brainwashed into caring about what people do sexually, which is so insane because we never care when it's something that matters. When it's a straight man doing something fucked up, we seem to not give a fuck, all right? Diddy beating women, locking them in closets, doing all the heinous things he did, nobody cares. Oh, he gay? Oh, he doing baby ocean and oil with dudes? Nah, that's crazy, B. Nah, that's crazy. Nah, I don't want to hear it. So often people will be like, oh, why the transes and all the gays and the drag queens talking to kids? They got to stay away from the kids. Cops talk to kids. Cops kill way more of you all than any of those people do. And those people are talking to the kids in school so they know that they're not monsters like the media tells them they are. Because you know who they also did that to? Black and brown people. If you haven't caught on, if you're not seeing the theme here, okay? We are all minorities. This is all the same game. We are on the same team. We cannot afford to fight each other.
It's kind of like I was racing to try to find that constant masculine role model right there, to the point where it's like I would really discriminate. Like I use the word fag, like always condescending towards gays and look down upon gays. And I remember my cousin told me that another one of my cousins was gay. And at that point, it's kind of when the turning point where I was like, yo, this is my cousin. I love him. Like, and I've been discriminating against gays. It's like, do I discriminate against my cousin? And then everything starts to click. You know, he brings his partner with him to like Thanksgiving and all that. And you just had to sit back and think, like, damn, you know, hip hop really is about, it seemed like it's about like fighting for your rights in the beginning, about speaking your mind and about breaking down barriers or whatever. But everybody in hip hop discriminates against gay people. To me, like, that's one of the standards of hip hop, is to be like, yo, you fag, you gay. Matter of fact, the exact opposite word of hip hop, I think, is gay. Like, yo, you play a record and it's like whack, that's gay, dog. You know, if it's good, that's that hip hop right there. You see what I'm saying? It's like the exact opposite. So it's like me speaking for my entire culture, or me looking at my rappers out there, hip hoppers discriminate against gay people.
See, this is why I don't read.
Riley, he's gay. It's really not that big a deal.
Not a big deal. If he gay, I'm his homie and a fan of his music, then that makes me gay too.
I like Elton John. That does make me gay.
Is Elton John gay?
Yeah.
See, and you gay. But I know I'm not gay, because I'm the most not gay nigga of all the not gay niggas in the whole universe. But see, people hate on you when you shining, see? That's what it is. They make up stories. Like me, I stay shining, so who knows? Pretty soon people gonna be calling me gay. But I'm not, and neither is Gangstalicious.
Why do you say things about person that might be a homosexual? Why do you say that about them? Do you feel there's a possibility that you're a homosexual and you, by disrespect them, you further yourself from being a homosexual, or thinking you may like homosexuals?
Nah, I'm straight as an arrow. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm not saying you are, but why do you have? If you're straight, why do you? I really
commented on the Dwayne Wade situation, because I got offended because it's a child. You know, that's why I really got offended. You know, and that's why I really said if it was a motherfucking 19-year-old, 18-year-old grown person, I probably wouldn't. I know I wouldn't have said nothing.
Cap, Boosie, Cap. And that's okay. I'm not going to drown us in redundancies when we playing more videos of him being homophobic, because we know he is, and it's not really his fault. That's what I'm trying to say in this video, that it's so deeply ingrained that we're very not often cognizant of the fact that we are just being sold a particular type of propaganda, which is surmised by the simple concept of gayness is weakness, because gayness is the inability to be masculine. You are submitting, I guess, you know, you're relinquishing, you're giving up your chance to be this ideal, which is insane, because, you know, men are men, you know, like, what are you talking about? But that also is derivative of the idea that sex is not about sex. It's not about connection with another person or your partner. It's about dominance underneath the patriarchal, masculine, colonial concept. You know, this is what toxic masculinity is. This is why it's hilarious that Boosie and his homie, I'm assuming it was DJ, laughing when Mike Tyson brought up toxic masculinity, because we have a BuzzFeed article understanding of the terms. The same thing with most of things, honestly, but we see that as a cartoonish critique of you just being a man. And my challenge to that very concept is, what is that? If I ask you what is being a man, what would your answer be? Those will be very broad and very different depending on who you ask that. But why would any of those things that you've listed when I asked you that question be negated because someone is attracted to a gender that is not what you deem acceptable? I really have always wondered, why do you care so much?
I've met a lot of homosexual black males in my work. 95% of the homosexual African-American men I've worked with and Latino were sexually violated as a child before the age of 12. Nearly everyone. So for me, I don't need to look at the studies from Harvard. I don't need to look at the studies from Yale. I don't need to look at the studies from the University of Pennsylvania. My experience, direct work with people in my community makes it clear that the number one, it's not the only route to homosexuality, but the number one route to sexual confusion for black males is molestation, pedophilia before the teenage years.
Leave it down there, huh? We don't waste no motherfucking soap in here. I'm finished. No, nigga. You ain't finished. I've been watching you. You have? You ain't washed behind your ears or nothing. But I did. Look at me. See how I'm all clean and glistening and shit. That's hygiene, nigga. You can call me the health inspector. Now pick up the soap. Pray, baby, pray.
This was the big one right here, pun not intended. As I said earlier, the fear of removal of the ability to be masculine is a deeply ingrained fear that stems from chattel slavery. When you treat people as if they are livestock, you don't care about how more people are made. You just want to make them. And also, if you want to treat a person like livestock, you take them at will. This also coincides with the toxic masculine thing of, if I am stronger, I get to have whatever I want. The removal of love to the concept of homosexuality is where homophobia comes from. You can only view it as the act of how they have sex. It's why lesbians, while still, hated on, are not seen the same way. Because for a lot of homophobic people, they don't believe that one can simply learn to love someone through life. You just become attracted to who you're attracted to. They quantify some sort of violence having to happen, which is patently inaccurate. But, it is so homogenized in our belief that we even unconsciously accept that. People who say they aren't homophobic still, it's why a bisexual man is not believed. It's like, no, he's just on the DL.
I know you remember the movies. We used to get freaky in there all the time. Remember that?
Quiet.
Oh, don't act, girl. You know we used to get it in. Yeah, where you stay at now? Hey, man, what's your problem, man?
No problem. I said, I can move if you want.
I ain't ask you to move, nigga. I'm trying to talk to my girl. You acting all weird and shit.
Yo, girl.
Yeah, man. Yo, this is my ex, Lisa, man. We used to talk back after my mom's kicked me out the house,
My nigga, that's a man.
What? No, man, this is my ex.
Your ex-girlfriend a man. Why you think she in jail with the men? She'd be on the other side. Nigga, you gay.
Nah, I mean, she... Nah. So you think I'm gay?
No,
This nigga gay as hell.
Shut the hell up, man. Y'all niggas is tripping. I ain't gay. Y'all niggas fuck guys up in here anyway, man.
No, that ain't gay. That's just jail. You was on the outside fucking booty holes.
Sexuality is a spectrum. You can really do whatever you want.
Nah, that boy gay as hell.
I'm gonna stab your whole ass when we get upstairs to themselves, man. Nigga, sit down.
Johnny, calm down.
Everyone get you the fuck up now! I know what y'all think she is, but I ain't on that faggot shit, man. being weird, nigga.
I'm not. I'm trying. I'm not, man.
And last but not least, the chemical X, if you will, to the homophobic concoction is closeted individuals. People who, by fear of not fitting into the broader masculine ideal, will often live a tortured life, not being able to express themselves, and then will hate anything that reminds them of the fact that they do not have the ability to be free. So why gay is always used as a pejorative is because you are different. You are odd. You are not fitting in to the parameters in which we have assigned to mean X. Therefore, you are an outcast and you are wrong. A lot of the people who are closeted who do this are, puffing up their chest. The same people who say, I'll fight anybody, I don't give a fuck, I'll fight anyone. But then the minute things hit the fan, they get all quiet and disappear all of a sudden. It's hard, man. It's hard being a member of society when you don't have the internal gumption to say, I don't want to subscribe to those rules. That's not how I choose to live. All of this analysis and all this time of this video and all of these things are the byproduct of me just being weird. I'm just a weird person, you know? I like to be by myself. I don't like to talk that much. I don't like doing the things that are supposed to be expected of somebody with my body, with my skin complexion. I like to do things that bring me joy and that I find fulfillment in. And unfortunately, when those do not fit the rules of the greater society, it is deemed as a problem. And black people in particular are even more adherent to these rules because we want to fight for a place in the broader society. It's why white dudes famously do gay shit all the time, as they're like, oh, we're just bros and kidding around, because they have the comfort of setting the standard. So obviously they can be like, what are you talking about, dude? Nah, what do you mean? They're like, that's why we're playing around, bro. It's a fucking joke, ha ha ha. But black people don't play that shit. Why? It's because I'm not treated as a man for just walking outside, you know? So what do you mean I'm gonna play around with a concept that takes that from me even further? The whole thing that I want to accomplish here, and the reason I'm saying all of this stuff, is to be free, bruh. Like, let yourself go from all of this stuff. I work in a gay bar. I have gay friends, and all I have learned through this time is that gay people are just like everybody else. They just like people with the same equipment that you have. They are not the people who are making your life difficult. They are not predators. Ironically enough, many of the closeted people are the ones who do it because they're so repressed. Hello, Catholic priests, that they get it out in toxic, evil ways because they're not able to express it openly and freely. I think if we remove the shackles of Western patriarchal colonialism from our minds, we will see the truth of the matter of we are all one being trying to survive on this planet. All the other things of money, power, all these nonsensical creations of man have caused us to kill each other, murder each other, ostracize each other for just doing that, trying to live and survive and have joy. Joy is so hard to come by in life. It's so fleeting, almost to be ephemeral. But if you can do anything, be yourself, okay? Don't care what anybody has to say to you because they're always going to criticize. You're never going to do it good enough. You're never going to be manly enough. You're never going to be anything enough. And the idea of being gay making you less of a man, as I've already said many times, is nonsense. Spartans, pretty fucking manly. They kill people all the time. Many of them have boyfriends. Japanese people, samurais, badasses. Pretty gay at times. You know, this goes back so long, but the, you know, current moment in mental has us trapped in the idea that it's a negative. Free yourself, free your family, free your people, free everybody else, bruh. Because at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
That's not gay. You who thinks everything in the world is gay. Nigga, you gay. You gay. Y'all niggas are gay. Nigga, you gay. That's gay.